Welcome to the second video in this first time playthrough of Dark Souls. Because I thoroughly scoured way more than necessary on my first days playing, these next days in this video make some really good progress. In fact, we'll get through at least 3 bosses and add them to the rankings, and we've got Blighttown and Sens in this video. So feel free to make some predictions below in the comments. How many deaths in each section do you think I will have? I'll be counting deaths from the start of the section to the sort of ending bonfire. For Blighttown, the bonfire at the bottom, and for Sens, the bonfire at the top. But without further ado, let's get started. This is my third day playing Dark Souls. You can tell because I'm wearing my Day 3 gamer clothes and am enjoying a Day 3 milkshake. I left off Day 2 having died to the Moonlight Butterfly, so of course I'm back at the Undead Parish now. I might have learned about kindling bonfires from somewhere else, so I Detroit Become Human and then kindle this one.
Where there was only darkness, the enkindlers gave light.
And look at that, finally unlocked the famous Firelink Shrine shortcut. This might have been a cool moment for most Dark Souls players, but since I had already found enough bonfires of relative safety, Firelink Shrine didn't really feel any more homey or safe than anywhere else at this point. I get to show off my absolutely top tier platforming skills, and then we go to this nest and curl up like a ball? Wait, I get that's the saying, but aren't those eggs? Like, if you went into a ball pit and curled up to pretend to blend in, I'd say, yeah, that's curling up like a ball. But if you happen to have a thing for getting sat on, so you went into a nest with other eggs to live out your kink fantasy, you're curling up like an egg. Birds don't sit on balls, they step on them. That's a different kink.
I beg your pudding.
Good old knight Steve parries us here for the first death of Day 3. But I come back and show him I've got skills too. The skills of a coward. Backstabs. After killing his congregation, we seek out the parish priest and finally get him one-on-one to ask for some forgiveness. He performs the miracle of levitation, unsuccessfully, and we perform the miracle of arrows to the face, quite successfully. After seeing us slay the priest and Knight Steve, Knight Luke parries to get revenge. I am taking my broadsword +4 into what will be the 5th different boss attempted. Asylum Demon, Taurus Demon, Capra Demon, Moonlight Butterfly, and of course now Bell Gargoyles, with only 2 of those bosses defeated. I didn't really feel like coming up with silly lore for the Bell Gargoyles, but I don't actually remember any of the lore videos people told me to watch mentioning much about them. Are they demons, like Taurus, Capra, and the others? Descendants of the dragons, perhaps? Maybe just humans who figured out that flying and breathing fire is better than rolling and throwing fire? Oh, you know what? There's a bunch of gargoyle items in the game. I'm pretty sure those would give lore description of what the gargoyles are. Never mind me. I'm just too lazy to look it up. No way. The 2-on-1 numbers catch me off guard on the first attempt, but no round 2 just yet. Instead, we die to this, and then we die to that. Oh, God, no. Instead of gargoyles, I come back for the rematch with Moonlight Butterfly and a new strategy that will surely lead to victory. Throwing knives at it in the air and using the stronger Black Knight sword to attack when it floats down. There's just one problem. I'm not strong enough to use the Black Knight sword. 4 damage? In a move that's no longer surprising to me watching this back, instead of the rematch with Butterfly, I go back to the Bell Gargoyles, which I just realized must be demons, because like I pointed out in the first video, absolutely 100% of all demons in this game are based on horoscopes, and the Gargoyles, clearly Gemini. There's your Bell Gargoyles lore. Okay, Bell Gargoyles boss fight review time. First of all, they get an opening cutscene that sets the stage for a great encounter. Fighting on top of a church? Great setting. The fight is also a really clever way to get the player used to a 2-on-1 boss fight. Here you get just a little tease of 2-on-1 in the latter half that will prep you for a boss fight later that's 2-on-1 from the start.
Yeah! 3 bosses down, 3 jump attacks.
Even though I didn't have a very difficult time with the boss, I still loved it. It's one of the few I look back on and think it would have been nice if it went on longer. Like, imagine if they remade this boss fight, but just added more gargoyles. How great would that be?
I don't think so, pal. That's not how this works.
The gargoyles have cool and complementary movesets so that you can still be in control when both are out there. It's just a fun boss fight, which is most important when all is said and done. They look cool, their attacks never seem unfair. I think it's one of the best overall boss fights in Dark Souls, and I've got the Bell Gargoyles all the way up at 5th.
Through tutorial. Oh, God. Hello.
One quick upgrade to my level and my Estus Flask, and I end up finding some stairs leading down to New Londo. Our sword goes through this ghost like hot butter, which, if you could put on toast, you could make ghost toast. But since we can't touch this ghost, that means we're toast, unless we, Detroit, become ghost ourselves. I love this mini puzzle mechanic to hitting these enemies. I think it was a great addition to the game. What I don't love quite as much is just how many ghosts there are in this section.
I need to un-target. You, no way. Oh, Jesus.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but 2 deaths is enough for me. So let's go back and face something I have 5 deaths to already. But now I'm more confident, or just more leveled up. So I attack this guy minding his own business in a dog park, but only after killing his 2 dogs right in front of him. I talked about Capra Demon in my last video, and despite the arena being too small, the dogs feeling like you just pray they miss you so you have a chance, sometimes a fight is more memorable because of its flaws. Don't get me wrong, it's still bad, but I like it more than a couple others. I'm gonna put Capra Demon at number 23.
Key to the depths. I think I need that. Actually, almost cost me a few times. More than one time. So it's like
Still after that elusive perfect jump, I'll give it a second try, and since I failed, you know I usually give up after 2 tries. Die to Dragon, unlock door to the depths, find Guy Fieri taking people to Flavortown, fight Guy Fieri twice, and then save our favorite fully fledged pyromancer.
oh, God, Jesus Christ.
You've just been pranked, you idiot.
That's entirely too much tuna, so I bone home and go take on the Titanite Demon. Can you guess what horoscope sign this demon is? Obviously, Titanite Demon is based off of Scorpio with that tail. See, making up lore hypotheses is easy. Me, I'm a Sagittarius, which makes me a fire sign, so I learn a fire spell. Unfortunately, I don't learn how to use the fire spell.
Be safe, friend. Don't you dare go on.
Hello.
We'll figure it out eventually. Back to the depths. And people say after Asylum and Taurus, there's really no use for the plunging attack.
Shield up. I'm gonna do it twice.
I beg your pudding.
Okay, as stupid as that is, hear me out. You can upgrade armor pieces to provide higher defense and resistances. Doesn't it make sense that upgrading a shield, you know, a thing known for providing defense and protection, would make it better at that and not stronger at attacking?
I've been human twice. NPC. Just to be safe. I mean, everything should
There's Solaire, trying to peer pressure me into jolly cooperation. But I always pass on jolly cooperation. It's a gateway drug. First it's jolly cooperation, and then what next? Needle cooperation? Jolly inhalation? Not for me.
Okay. This is a big enemy.
Oh, you don't say. How observant. That kind of attention to detail is why you upgraded the Grass Crest shield. Well done, Matt. Gaping Dragon is a really difficult boss to rank. It absolutely stands out with its design. Its moveset is fairly boring though. It's also not a very difficult boss, even for newcomers. I can't say there's anything particularly fun about this fight either. But, on the other hand, there's not anything bad about the fight, and it often feels overlooked. Probably because once you learn the game, you take the Master Key so you can skip the depths and the harder path to Blighttown. I think it's perfectly average, kind of in the right place at the right time. So I'm gonna have Gaping Dragon be a bit towards the higher half of the middle of the pack, even cracking the top 10. And good enough for the 9th best boss in Dark Souls.
Could be it. Oh no, he hit me. One more. Dashboard out.
Hey, if you're watching this still, you're either really enjoying the video or got really unlucky clicking ahead to find Blighttown. Either way, consider giving this video a like if you're enjoying it, and subscribe, blah blah blah, do whatever else I'm supposed to ask you to do, but most importantly, just keep watching, keep enjoying. What the hell was that version of Matt talking about? You pretty much nailed it if you're looking for Blighttown. The real Blighttown starts now.
Look at this man. You think I can kick him? Oops, I jump attacked. I had to get a really bad death.
Wow! What a hole!
Oh, stop, dude.
Wow! What a hole!
So these big fellas on the outskirts of Blighttown gave me quite a bit of trouble, but I was wondering, who are they trying to keep out of Blighttown? And then I thought, lore. They're not trying to keep people out. They're not even trying to keep people in. They're just enemies created for a video game and placed in certain locations to provide a challenge. My mind was blown. It's in one of the item descriptions, I promise. Crazy lore for these guys.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, he hit me. Yeah, I'm probably about to die, aren't I? We get poisoned. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh boy. Not on there.
I finally kill all 3 of the big fellas guarding the outskirts of Blighttown, only to look away from the screen, talking to chat, and get poisoned.
Your parry frames are at the start of the animation? Oh. Are you serious? I'm still poisoned? Estes? What? Uh-oh, I put my shield away!
I finally make it through the outskirts with a little help from the crossbow, and now the real Blighttown begins. Honestly, this is way better than the shithole outskirts at the start. I had a pretty hard time finding or seeing the ladders that are scattered throughout this level, so I mostly just rolled down levels of Blighttown.
Oh! Nobody dodges my jump attack and gets away with it. Oh dear God.
Halfway there, and 7 deaths so far.
Oh, I died, didn't I? I did not die.
Oh, well, make that 8.
That's fine.
Looking back at this footage and watching others on their first time in Blighttown, a lot of deaths are usually from getting too cute and wandering around rather than proceeding down the most obvious path. But that's kind of the brilliance of Blighttown's level design. You just can't help but push boundaries, take uncalculated risks to new places rather than treading the same ground. Maybe this path will lead to an easier way, or maybe it leads to a great item or another bonfire. And that might be one of my favorite things about video games in general. It's being able to play around with risk, reward, curiosity, danger in a way you can't often do in real life. So I really enjoyed Blighttown, believe it or not, and I would not consider it the worst area in Dark Souls.
Ah. Oh! No! Everybody's hurting me. This is bad. Alright, I can't do that.
Through the fog wall, and now the real Blighttown begins. This part of Blighttown is lit well enough for me to actually see a ladder. Make that 2 ladders. I will claim that without a doubt, I am the best platformer in Dark Souls. And if you still don't believe me yet, just wait. But don't tell me this isn't similar to the way pretty much everybody got down to the bottom of Blighttown the first time. Seriously, who made it to the swamp at the bottom by just moseying easily down the ramps? But there it is, Blighttown in 12 deaths. Not too bad. Look at that tasty build. It's no wonder that Man-Eater Mildred came looking for us, but we're hollow and devoid of any humanity, so we try to help her change her name to Sword Eater. Oh, nope, she's just dead now. Name not needed.
Dark spirits me to a good, different area. Oh no, it's a dead end. Plank shield.
Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. Where you going? Come back, hear us out. Don't leave.
Little do I know that I'm about to escape from Blighttown before seeing all the great sights. But fortunately, I fall and Detroit become hamster on top of the world's worst Ferris wheel. I'm in luck because my hetero male instincts take over and can sense a woman nearby. Sure, there was Man-Eater Mildred. Keyword was. She's dead, so we can forget about Man-Eater Mildred like that girl you turned down when she asked you to go to prom. You know there's gotta be a woman at the end of this path because look at these pathetic simps just begging for it. Ugh, male hetero instincts, you've let me down again. This isn't a woman, this is a demon, and therefore obviously based on another horoscope. Since her design is obviously based on a crab, she's a Cancer. After Bell Gargoyles and Gaping Dragon being maybe a bit too easy, Capra Demon being too unintentionally challenging, and Moonlight Butterfly being too gimmicky, Quelaag's difficulty and challenge put it all together for me. Needing to be aware of not just her attacks, but your positioning as lava begins to fill the arena and limit movement was pretty enjoyable. And I think Quelaag also teaches that now getting in close or behind bosses, that they'll have a way to evade or punish being too greedy going forward. Of course, Quelaag has a unique and memorable design, and she has a couple attacks with similar starting points to where you do need to learn the attacks. This was the first boss I felt like I truly had to observe and learn in order to beat. Everything else had a slow enough wind up that you knew to stop what you were doing, wait for the attack to begin, and time your dodge correctly. With Quelaag, once an animation started, you had to know and act immediately. Third attempt, and it turns out Quelaag is a spitter, not a swallower, which is a bummer. Mostly because it makes a mess everywhere. So we get her from behind and punish her for being a bad girl, and then we chug one right in front of her to show her how a real man swallows.
Beg your pudding.
I love this boss fight. I think it's the first boss you could legitimately make a case to be number 1 overall, but for me, I'm placing Quelaag the Chaos Witch, and definitely not a spider, at number 4.
Oh no, I need one more. Easy. Woo!
Ring the second bell, and then some asshole tells me there's an invisible wall here. but, like most Dark Souls viewers, absolutely sucks at giving any semblance of a detailed description, so I just attack random walls like I'm the Hulk, until we find the fair lady. Matt, what do you think about this fair lady?
She's prettier.
Fire indeed hot.
Through the fog wall here, and is this an arena? Is this a boss? Is this a friend? Can we actually just stop and consider that this guy is one of two bosses who will not attack you unless provoked? So, what do? Well, first we act like a gentleman, bow to him, and then of course we provoke him.
Standard bolt, please. Oh! Well played.
Can I also take a second to mention that if you attack this guy, but he kills you, when he sees you again, he'll leave you alone and let bygones be bygones. But if you rob his actually not dead sister's grave and take her clothes, that's a grudge he'll hold forever.
Ooh, let me try something really quick. Oh!
We'll unfortunately come back to Ceaseless Discharge later, but for now, let's try to escape Blighttown, which is easier said than done. Although, doing it is not so hard either if you avoid any side diversions. On to the last thing of day 4, we find our way out of Blighttown and back to the Valley of the Drakes, and one of them is guarding a lot of hotline bling. But I've yet to get good, so that can only mean one thing. Day 5, and we start every good day by checking in on the fair lady. Since somebody spoiled her location that in all honesty I probably would not have found on my own, I looked up and found out that the old witch's ring I chose as a gift at the beginning gives you a very special power. The confidence to talk to women and the empathy to understand them.
I think it's her time.
Like I said, empathy. Drake is charged up, lightning off, fuck, bad roll, die to gravity's rainbow. Halberd upgrade, firekeeper's dead okay, crest's fallen very glum, sends fortress on the way. 2 bells now rung, Framps here like stung, shield still +2, can't level, oh shoot, we have no bonfire. It's no longer burning cause the track's a vermin, we didn't start the fire. It's been always burning since Gwyn's coercing.
Don't worry, guys. I am the chosen undead. Here to save the world. Oh!
This is here because I am showing all deaths from my first playthrough, but this is really setting up something for later as well. To reiterate, I am very scared of snakes. These snakes are bigger than the tree lizard, which I found out was not a snake, but the worst is still to come. Almost end up taking a 4th death in Sens right here from the grab, but I get very lucky and the arrow traps end up saving me. Next, I go to loot this box, but it looks like a bit of a scam. I'm primarily a single player kind of gamer, so I don't fall for the trap, and I'm certainly not going to lose to a predatory loot box. I've been convinced for years that where I turned this lever was not sending the rock back down the path it normally goes with the fog wall for safety, but later during this same life, that's exactly where it hits me. Can somebody tell me I'm right and that the boulders here are actually haunted somehow?
What? Did somebody turn it? No worries. Wait, does that keep going up? It did keep going up a little bit.
Oh, thought I wouldn't turn around and find your secret path, Dark Souls. I'm out of flasks, so now it's getting really serious. I'm popping humanities for health.
Snakes. Hello. Bro, are you gonna...
Look at that. The fire spell I couldn't figure out comes in clutch down the stretch. With no Estus Flask pulls left, popping humanities for health, the hot hands take out Lightning Macobra, and now we've got a clear and easy path toward... Make the necessary adjustments for next time, and now we've got Grass Shield +3. Who's a gamer? Pause this time in between, and we're up and out of the fortress.
Maybe it's just a bonfire. Right? We could all hope.
That's an astute observation, Matt. We're not home free yet. Dying now would send us all the way back.
Oh god! Jump scare. What was that? I think locks me into a boss, but it does put me on this bridge right here, so it might. And then I can kind of freely explore around a bit.
I go through a lot of flasks against the bomb giant, barely survive the Black Knight, and probably would have just headed to the boss since I did take out pretty much every enemy. But can you guess what happens? That's right, some Dark Souls asshole spoils things again and had to tell me there's a pretty hard bonfire to find nearby, so you should probably get it.
Can I survive this jump? Oh no! Oh my god.
We survived the jump, barely, survived the fall to the bonfire, and with an asterisk if you want, clear sends with just 4 deaths. Easier than Capra Demon. Quick peek at all of the stats, and then it's off to our next boss. The Iron Golem, created by Gwyn in the image of the giants. The Golem was an automaton, the perfect entity to do whatever bidding Gwyn and his descendants pleased. Cold, unthinking, unfeeling. When Gwyn left to stoke the embers and keep the Age of Fire going, Gwendolyn enlisted the Iron Golem to join his cause. But being with the other giants, those beings the Golem was sculpted to be an idealized form of, it fell in love with a real giant. It saw beauty in flaws and imperfection. Gwendolyn, having never known love, especially due to his own flaws perceived by his father, was furious. Another failure of Gwyn's, an automaton that could love and care for something other than itself, more than Gwyn could ever say. As punishment for its disobedience, Gwendolyn placed the Iron Golem at the top of Sen's fortress to keep out the unwanted undead from Anor Londo, and the giant the Golem fell in love with, stationed just across the rampart in another tower, always in sight of one another, but always apart. The day would come when one would surely have to watch the other die, unable to do anything. That day was today. This has been Made Up Dark Souls lore. Thank you for listening.
It's an exaggeration. Oh, he did get staggered. No! It wasn't a jump stab.
Alright, just 1 death to Iron Golem, so let's talk ranking. The Iron Golem always felt like a boring boss to me, but when I looked back at a lot of the others, the Golem actually seemed better than I gave it credit for. I think that's because of expectations. Some of the key bosses later in the game I thought would be a lot better because of their importance to the story, but those fights kind of let me down, even though the characters and lore of those bosses are much more fascinating. If I were to take those things into account, I'd probably push Iron Golem down a bit from where I have him, but the Iron Golem is a pretty fun and cool fight, and I didn't have any expectations that it could really fail to live up to. I should probably dock it for killing the all-bosses final hit jump attack run I was on, but knocking him down and being able to have him tumble off the map to his death is also kind of cool. I'm gonna say a 3 for difficulty, 6 for enjoyment, and just making the top 10. Number 10, Iron Golem.
Don't kick. Jesus. But why not? Hey, we survived. Hey, we died.
Well, here we are in Orlando, truly the Orlando Disney World of all Midwesterners growing up. A long-ass trip to get there, but so fucking worth it. And like being a kid in Disney World, I had no idea where to go without some adult supervision. So even with a couple people telling me what to look for to advance in Orlando, I missed the entrance to Mr. Toad's Wild Ride several times. Dark Souls chatters and their vagueness strike again.
It's not an invisible wall, right? I mean, there's walking up this. So... I also know the kick move. Like, check this out. Watch me kick him. I think I'll first try this. I might get unlucky. But, like, that's a moron. Lovely. Here comes this guy. Guess what? I have a shield. I'm smart. And then a stab. Uh-oh. Oh, you can't get down here.
What is this, the fucking Da Vinci Code? That's a painting, not a contraption. Finally make it to the big palace, and now it's just time to find a way in. You take one death on the way there, and decide that's where I'll call it for the day.
He got me.
Well, that is all for this video. I'm hoping to start consistently uploading on Tuesdays, so stay tuned for part 3 coming next week, and thanks for watching.